Hello folks. Time once again to do some retro CSS battles. These are daily targets from the past. We've got the 10th, 11th, and 12th of May 2024. Let's get right to it. We've got, what the heck is this element? We've got a, it's just kind of a weird shape, right? Like, okay, let's start with a background and then let's create an element, this paragraph tag, to encompass most of it. All right, so I'm going to put margins not on the body, but on the element itself, because we may need to create another element. In fact, we probably do, but let's figure out what we need to do first. Okay, so 30, 40, 90, 90, 70. So what we're doing is narrowing in exactly what shape we need to do this. And so this is what we created. Add a border radius, and that gets us a lot of the way there. Border radius of, let's use a Q value, 20Q. That's a guess. Is it correct? It might be right. How about 21Q? 22Q. Probably that does it. Now, how do we do this little bit? Well, I don't know. But we can do it several different ways. Let's do one way. And we're going to do a conic gradient. Which is going to be color 45 degrees and then transparent. That creates that shape. Now the question is, what's the most efficient way then to turn that into something that's in the location and at the size that we want? So if we do black in the background, right, which shows us that, and really, can we do this? I think because we need to do a repeat, we're not going to do that. We're just going to put the color right there. All right, so let's move it. I'm going to move it over. There's what happens when you remove it over slightly, and then what happens when you move it down. So this is kind of what we're getting at. So there's 0. How about minus 10 pixels? 30, 40, 50, 60, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. That's not bad. I was afraid we were going to need to do something like no repeat, but it looks like we're actually okay with just that, and so we'll take that. My instincts are good on that one. All right, so how do we do this inner part? To me, this has me thinking that maybe we can do this. No. I think we need another element. But let's see if we can do this. Because we did such a nice conic gradient for the first one. And actually, can we move this into this position? Yeah, we can. So that's a nice background there. So let's do the background on the element. Do another conic gradient. And we'll do from, what is that, 50 degrees, and this darker color, and then that's a narrow angle, let's call it 30 degrees, and then the rest of that color. So that's kind of getting there. Let's play with those angles and see how far we get with just the default for 70, 31, 32, 33. So already I can see that the center is not at the direct middle. So do we go with that? So I think what that means, if we can make that angle be parallel on the bottom end, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40 degrees, 39, and then we can say 0, move it over 20 pixels, 10 pixels. That's pretty good. So that's, this is how we get that. Is that good? I don't know, it's up to you to decide. 1.1, 0.2, 3, 0.5, 0.6, 7. And then let's make this 8, 7, 6, 7, 8 degrees. So what happens if we do a border? $20 pixels solid of that color, this reddish deal. Now that's going to change some of our math, and it's going to certainly change our height. So now what I'm going to do is set this background to be black so I can see what's going on. So I would like that border to be more. That's not bad. So if we now have a border of 30, let's turn that into a height of 60. It's not bad. Let's see what happens when we put this color back. So we do have a problem there. I think what that means is, let's do this as an at 52%. 50% vertically. Oh, that changes the calculus entirely, doesn't it? Oh, no. That's not what's happening. Don't listen to me. So the at syntax is a little trickier. We add it after the from. There we go. That's what I meant to do. So we're going to say 0, 40, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Okay. So that's that. Now, I think to do this shape, then we need a second element. And that screws up everything. So let's create that element and see why it's screwing everything up. It's because the margins of this guy are so weird. I'm going to set a background of a pink color, and then you can see why that's all wonky. So this kind of gradient is screwed up because the body is actually taller of this element, of the body element. Okay, so let's set a height of 10, and then let's do some negative margins. Minus 50, and then 100. Oh, and then we need to unset the border. Border, none. Okay. So in theory, there is a set of margin values we can do to move this into place. So 4, 5. And if I create this background like this, and then set bottom margin just needs 0, and then this we need 100, 130, and then this second value needs to increase 2, 3. So see what I'm doing? And then with the height 5, okay, and a little bit higher up. 6, 7, 8. Great. This is 1, 2, 122. Great. 1, 2. Great. The height is, let's try 40. No, 50, 60. All right, and then the border radius is what? Border 10Q. Sure. Let's see if we've got 100% match. I'm not totally sure. And what's more, we have so many complicated shapes and angles here that I'm not sure what I will change. Yeah, because we're at 99.9%. We'd like to be at 100, and we're not. So what are the problem areas? It's likely that these angles are a problem. I hate that is the case, but it's also could be that these border radius could be wrong. So let's do more normal border radius, 30, 20, and then let's do this border radius, 5 pixels, 10. Let's try that. Looking like the inner, this triangular shape is the problem to me. So that means this background is the issue. So what can we do? We need to tweak that a little bit. How about adjusting these numbers? 6, 7, 8, 9, 71. And then let's decrease this angle, 7. Oh, and let's submit that. Let's see. If that's 100%, I'd be very happy. I'm not sure that's what it is. Okay, nope, that's not it. Looking very, very closely. I've got a lot of good bones of this solution, but it's just not quite there. And if that's the case, what do we need to do to make that be happy? Definitely feel, if that's the case, that let's create another element. And just for simplicity, we'll use the P plus P plus P, background, red, and there it is. That's where it shows up because it's inheriting the margins of the parent. So let's put this guy in place, and then we're going to do a clip path on him. All right. So let's get to it, and we're going to remove this conic gradient and have that be a simple color. And if that's the case, then we don't need the border, really. I'm going to say don't do that. Make this 120 again. Okay, and then that simplifies things a little bit. Now we don't need to do this border, none. Height we still need, background we still need. Yeah, background we still need. And that's the margins that are going to be the thing. Margin minus 120. This number is going to be minus 140 or something, 0, and then 132. Okay, less negative 10, 100. What am I doing wrong here? 2, 3. No, that's okay. So 80, 70, 60. And I'm going to put a background of a bright yellow so I can see what that is. All right, so this means margin. Bigger margin here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 220. There we go. And then this gets smaller. 3, 4. No, 3, 2, 1, 2. 32. All right, now let's make this background not that. And then we're going to click path. Click dash path, polygon, and it's 4 points, right? So it's 0, 30 pixels, 100%, say 20%, 100%, 80%, something like that, and then 0, 60 pixels, let's say. All right, so we have a shape. It's not the right shape. Okay, so this first point is too low, 20. And let's do this as a pixel value as well, 20 pixels. So that'll be a flat line now. So let's go lower, 1, 2, and then this is higher, 10, close. And then let's make this 50 pixels, and then make this 40 pixels, 38, 37. And then this needs to be a little lower, I think. 3, 4, 3. All right, let's see if that's 100% match. Submitting to the server, and there is 100% match. Okay, so we've got 3 elements that make up this thing. The tail is the triangle, which is a conic gradient, and we have 3 elements that you can see. So if I do pink, those are the 2 paragraph tags, and then this shape is the other one. So let's variabilize this. Do we need to variabilize this? Yeah, we do. Let's set the margin. See var dash m, and then we set the margin here dash m. That all works. Background can also be a var dash b, like so. That means this becomes dash b. We can do the same thing for height, var dash h, and then we can shave more characters. And that's let's just make sure that we've not broken anything there. And that's as much optimization as I think we can do in terms of my particular approach. So let's so that's still 100%. We'll minify and unit replace. There are a few units that can be replaced, so we'll submit, and then we're done with this guy. So that's May 10th, 2024. A nice little thing to solve. Very cool. All right, let's look at this guy. I have mixed results with the on the plugin that I released, the nested plugin, which is really using the HTML element and the body element as the primary drivers of the look and feel, right? So let's do the bright color here. There's the green, and then the dark color here. And then we're going to adjust the margins to create exactly that shape. And that's how you create that shape. That's the body tag, and that's what it looks like. So let's, to me, who enjoys a conic gradient very much, conic gradient of, and we're going to put it at 0, 0, and have it be 40 pixels wide. And I'm going to do light green, 25%. And then this 0, 50%, and then the rest of it is the light color. That creates it. If I do a no repeat, you can see that piece, and I've guessed it correctly, mostly. So what if we do that, how much of it do we have? Actually, I have a fair amount, so that's great. It looks good. Will it work? I don't know. We're gonna find out. Linear gradient. So now we need to cover up the gaps there. And I think we're gonna do it, yeah, we could do it on the body, but I think that doing it on the background of the body element is the right call. So we'll do 90 degrees, transparent, and then a covering color. And I'm going to do red just so I can see it, and then transparent again, and then blue so you can see what that is, and then transparent again. So all we need to do is set some color stops. That will cover up the difference. And does that do it? So I'm going to go ahead and choose the right color. So it's not that one. We need to move it over more. 30 and 40. That looks pretty good. So in terms of complementary sizing, 60, it'll be 60 and 70% are the color steps. And strictly speaking, what that means, no, that's not what that means. I was going to say that we could then do it as a half size, but actually this is correct. So let's submit. We're done because it's asymmetric, right? So we have all this blank space here. All right, and that's a solution. It's 100% match. So what unit replace and minify? I don't think we have any units that are going to reduce. And then resubmit, and that is a solution to May 11th, 2024. Terrific. All right, and then, oh, the eyeglasses. I remember these eyeglasses. Did I suffer on the eyeglasses? A little bit. That's fine. I enjoy the eyeglasses a lot. All right, what is this today? I'm gonna do the blank template. See how far I can get without any elements. So just use the body tag. So radial gradient is how you make a circle. And I think we will use that color, and we'll do orange, and then transparent. And then we need some sizing on that, right? How about 40 pixels radius? All right, so what is that? That is not a circle because it's adhering to the body. And you can see that if I give this a height of like 300 VH. Oh, no. 200 VH, there we go. There, now you can see it. So the 300 pushes it off screen. But if I do it like 130, then you can see what it's doing there. And there's a missing scroll bar. Anyway, without that, you need the keyword circle so that it doesn't adhere to the shape of the body element, which is 400 by 300, right? All right. And that looks correct. So then if we give it a width, give that body a width, it's going to repeat at that interval. That could be right. And then we're going to use background position to move this into place. 2, 3, 4. And there it is. Great. So that's piece number 1. Now I can't help but note that unfortunately the repeat there is a bummer, right? Like that's a bummer. Because it's encroaching the rest of it, which I don't like. So does that make this inappropriate? I mean, I can add a linear gradient coming in from the side and say, and I know that I'm going to need, yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So I think one of the things that I do is put these into a variable. So G for the background. And if I do bar, there it is, and then I can move it 50, 60, 70, 80. So probably if I paste this in and then do minus 80, I get what I want. Now, is that the best code? Marginal. And I still need to do the rest of this, right? Okay, so the next radial gradient, to do the bridge of the nose here, radial gradient at 50%, 100%, and then it's going to be transparent. Actually, it's got to be that color again, isn't it? Plunk, and then the orange, and I need that keyword circle again. And then what are you seeing? Well, that's exactly what that gradient is. Oh, because I have no color stops. That's what that is. So here's what that is. Let's do 30 pixels, so smaller, 50 pixels. And right now, it's, actually we just need the color stop there. But I'm gonna need 50 pixels and then transparent. That's how you get that guy. And that still looks a little big. So let's do 0 and then minus 100 pixels. That moves it up. 130. So, not quite right. How about 20 and 30? 20 and 40. And then move it up more. 4, 5. That looks good. Now, the tricky part, well, none of this is particularly simple, but now we got a linear gradient that we need to do. Linear gradient, which is going to be yellow and then orange at least. That's how we do that. How about 40%? 40, 45, 46, 47, 47, 46%. Yeah. If we give this a height, how about 200 pixels tall? So what did we do? We did that, which is, it's not great. Let's do a no repeat. Let's see what we, okay, so we'll do 100%. Okay, so what's the height of the repeat? So if I want to do yellow and orange as the background and then have it repeat, I need it to have a size. And that size, in this case, I've got it at 200 pixels. So that's from the top to here is 200 pixels. If I adjust that number, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we expose another problem here, which is this, that is now a problem, right? Because the way I have the bridge of the nose, it's a circle at this thing, and which we need to get the correct, just the top of it, but it's not going to cover this. So what's the solution? To me, that has me thinking about my Swiss Army knife of conic gradient again. And just for your elucidation, and for actually for me too, conic gradient And we'll do transparent to 50%. We'll do red, and then transparent again. Now you can see it, right? And what I would like to do is have that be at a height. So we're going to be at 0. It's a yeah, and I'm going to give it a width. There's 240 pixels, 50, 60, 70. Cool. And if I give it a height, you can see that this is, it's possible this is going to be useful to us. 2. Okay. So let's give this a height that matches the bottom of this. So what 1.8 did we say? I've already done this, but I have to continually redo these things. So at 50%, 90%, comma, 90, 89, 88, 87, 88. And if I put this on the bottom layer, right, this is on the, literally I put that conic gradient at the top layer, add a comma, repaste it in, and there they are. So let's make that red orange. And then, because it's the bottom layer, we can replace these transparent colors with the yellow, and we might have a solution. Let's see if that's a perfect match. I'm using percentages to place the center of it. Oh, and yeah. So yeah, that's no good. See that diff? In the diff mode, you can see where it's misaligned. And so the vertical alignment is wrong. 37, 88. Probably if I do 0.5, it'll work. Oh, 80, maybe 87.5. Let's see if that's 100% match. If it is, maybe we're done, but I don't really love that number. 100 pixels, 50, 40, 140 pixels is just as good. Let's submit that. Find out if we've got a solution. I kind of like that solution. That's good. Yeah, that's 100% match. So let's unit replace and minify. And that is a solution to the eyeglasses puzzle. And yeah, so that's from May 2024. We got the, I don't know, I guess it's a little pop-up speech balloon with a camera inside it. And then sort of weird piano. And then the eyeglasses. Yeah, it's a fun one. Fun set of puzzles from May 2024. Hope you enjoyed this. Make something with HTML and CSS. They are there for you to use, and make a web page and share it with your friends. It's pretty cool. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye.